All right, let's talk about a good topic that a lot of people are affected by on a daily basis when it comes to trading. And that is trying to really grasp an understanding of why are you taking so many trades? Are you taking quality level trades? Why are you blowing your accounts if you are, consistently doing so? Trying to figure out what it is that is affecting your trading so you can somehow reset yourself so that you can put yourself in or allow yourself to be a consistent, profitable trader, in the end. The goal of most people is to someone within the 30s to 60 days is to be able to show a level to where they are making money versus losing money. And so many people get tied into this business when they start off as a beginner, just throwing money into a brokerage account, thinking that they can turnkey and make money overnight. Now, a lot of you who have done that probably could say, yep, I've done that and that has not worked out for me. I found myself having to go back to the drawing board and really figuring out what I need to do to correct my mistakes. Let me say this right now. The biggest thing that all traders can do to really help them to become profitable is really come up with a solid trading plan. Not just a strategy, but a plan that's going to hold you accountable for how you or what you do every single day, gearing up to from the moment you step in front of your charts to the moment you take your first trade. All right. And that's what I want to talk about today is really how to reset your overall day trading strategy and putting it on pen and pad, in reference to your trading plan so that you can become profitable, so that you can make money, so that you can cut your losses or minimize your losses so you always remain in the green. Okay. Now, one of the things I can tell you right now that you really need to pay close attention to is your actual analysis in reference to your trade data. Okay. I'll say that. Because that's what's going to give you the valuable information that's really going to let you know, kind of give you an inside behind the closed door looks, let you know how are you actually performing. A lot of people like to turn to their win rate, how am I doing overall on a daily basis? Are you gauging that on a per day? Or are you gauging it on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis? It all depends on the actual trader themselves. Me, I personally like to look at my average per week, and then streamline that over the the next several weeks, whatever the case is. Now, if you are noticing to where your win rate is affected, where it's one day good, one day not, one day back and forth, to where you're not having a decent win rate, and that could vary depending on the actual person. Some people believe that 60% is good, some people believe that 70% is good, 80, whatever it may be. But that's probably all tied to how you're actually trading. And this video is not really all about the actual breaking down the strategy and what you're doing wrong versus what you're not doing. What you are doing right. Because I talk about the strategy and how I personally trade within much video content here on this channel. So when it comes to win rate, what is that number really affected by? Well, of course, the number of trades you're taking, how many you're taking as far as losses, how many you're taking that are actually you're taking gains or profits. So that's going to affect your overall win rate as well. But also a consideration could be the time of day that you're actually trading. Is there more volume at certain peak times or not? For me, I like to trade pre-market as well as the first hour and a half, maybe within the New York session. Another thing you really want to pay attention to is, again, how many trades are you actually taking on a day? When you are in a winning streak, or you're doing well, which means you really understand how to read the market correctly, and taking those A+ quality setups. How many trades are you taking? Are you taking a minimum of like 1, 2, maybe max 3 trades a day? Some people's sweet spot is around 2 to 3. Or do you find yourself in a rut to where you are really revenge trading or over trading when you are actually taking on more losses? So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll take one trade, it's a loss. The second trade, maybe a win. The third trade is a loss. So then they're trying to constantly back and forth, try to stay ahead or put their neck above the water so that at the end of the day, they can either most times break even or end up in the green. And the reality is, the more trades you spend or the more time you spend within the markets, or the more trades you take, at some point you're going to end up taking a decent sized loss that's going to wipe out all the profits. So I will say this right now, as part of your trading plan, I would recommend, and you probably may think about doing so yourself, is limiting the number of trades that you actually take. I'm telling you this for a reason, because it's going to help you not only become a consistent trader, but it's going to help you in reference to having structure, okay, being very disciplined in the style and the way that you actually trade just as well. Now, some people say, well, does a strategy, affect, my win rate or how I perform? Yeah, true, it does. I mean, because not all strategies work. I will say that now, because wherever you're learning it from, wherever someone's teaching it to you in a class or whatever it may be, you want to make sure that it actually works by back testing and forward testing it, okay? So again, these are things that are really going to help you reset yourself when it comes to day trading, regardless of the strategy. But again, you want to perfect a solid strategy and make sure that you can be consistent with it. And if you see that you are consistent with it, and then you start to, at some point or down the road, you start to maybe take on more losses than you actually have or winning, then there's something that you're maybe not doing right. You're probably taking trades in which you do not need to trade, which could be low probability setups versus high probability setups, or quality setups versus ones that are less quality setups. So you have to really spend some time and digging deep to find out for yourself, because no one else is going to know what are you doing right versus what are you actually doing wrong, okay? Now, again, if you find yourself being affected from the psychology of, where you feel like you're having to start gambling to kind of stay afloat or ahead, even if you have a perfect strategy, you need to go back to the drawing board to try to reset yourself in some way or another so that you can put yourself back on the right path to become profitable. The number one thing that helped me out, I'm going to say this now, was minimizing the number of actual trades I take. A lot of you already hear me within the video say I take a max of 1 or 2 trade setups, which meaning if I take one decent size trade, okay, and let's say, for example, most times I like to get 20 points on the NASDAQ. Is that enough for most people to be able to pay their bills and to live off of? Yeah, depending on how many contracts you're actually trading. If you're trading 2 E-mini contracts on the NASDAQ, picking up 20 or slightly plus points, you should be done. I mean, because you're making a decent amount of money, because really, in reality, 2 contracts on 20 points trading the NASDAQ, for example, is $800 on one small trade that you may only be in for a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, okay? You do that, say if you say, okay, well, I'm going to take 2 trades a day. Okay, I'm not saying you're gambling, but you're sticking to your actual rules on your trading plan, and you make another $800, then you're up $1,600 on a day. Or some of you may really have the size account, you say, I'm going to take 1 trade a day, 4 contracts max. All right, I'm going to pick up 20 points, and you're done. Guess what? On those 20 points or 4 contracts, you've already maxed out at $1,600 and don't have to trade again. So really, you have to figure out, the number of trades that you're actually going to, take. And the thing about it is that why would you take, if you have a max of 2 trades, you're going to take, you're going to hold yourself accountable to your trading plan itself. Why would you want to engage in the market and take on your first trade a low quality or a low probability setup right out the gate? No. Focus on the setups that make the most sense, the ones that you know for sure are definitely going to pay you out in some fashion or another on that trade, okay? Now, the second thing that I will say that affects a lot of people is that they spend, okay, let me say this the correct way. Thinking simpler versus placing too much thought into the actual setups themselves, all right? Which means that you're overanalyzing the actual setup. You're overanalyzing the charts. You're looking at way too many things across so many different probably monitors or charts. You have too much information on your charts. I've talked about this in the past, guys, about having tons and tons of indicators on your charts. Do you honestly feel as if you need to have all 5, 6 indicators on your chart to be able to trade with? Does it help you? I'm going to say this right now because most indicators, if not all, lag. All right, they lag. Okay, behind price themselves. Now, I'm not saying they can't help you help maximize your trade once you're into it. Say an SMA or EMA, whatever the case is, depending on how the market is trending overall in that direction. But it's not going to move directly with price action. You have to understand that. Raise a hand right now. I want to know how many people out there are actually using more than 1 indicator on your chart. How many of you are actually using 2, 3 indicators? Is it a security blanket for you? Does it help you out in any kind of way? And if so, tell me how these indicators, I'd like to know, help you out, all right? Because I'm not saying that all indicators don't work. I'm just saying they lag behind. I believe the best way to trade and which is going to help you become profitable is truly understanding structure and price action. That's what you should master right now. And I tell people, the best thing that you could do for yourself is to trade from a naked chart when you are in demo and simulation, because that's what's going to give you the training, the tools that you need to see if you really can succeed in this business. Start with the naked chart. Take everything away. I know that so many gurus out there may have told you, or there's so many products out there that you can actually buy and add to your charts. And everybody, so many people, I'm telling you, because I've been there, think that having these indicators, oh, that's a nice indicator, that's going to help me become profitable. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it can't help out. But if you get into a trade based on what an indicator is telling you, it's lagging behind, okay? Price action is the true testament to what's going to help you become a profitable trader, understanding how to read that. All right, that's what's important overall. So again, having tons of indicators on your actual charts can very much so affect a trader. Simplicity is what is most important. I'll say that again, simplicity, okay? These are the things that are really going to help you direct the path and reset yourself from someone that may be struggling with their trading to someone that can start to show consistency and become profitable in the end. Now, the next thing I want to really say is that if you're someone out there that's probably trading a mix of variety of different strategies all in one, guess what? I'm sure at some point that's probably confusing the daylights out of you. Raise a hand right now. Let me know. Drop a comment down below. How many of you are trading more than, say, 2 strategies, or have more than 2 strategies written down on your trading plan? Let me tell you this again. Simplicity is where it's at. I trade supply and demand. Some people trade it all. They trade, the break and the retest. They trade break and retest, and they trade liquidity sweeps, liquidity grabs. They trade patterns, flag patterns. Say for example, that's a bearish flag. Things of that nature. So you really have to find out what works best for you. And I have a very good system in trading strategy that I trade with, and a lot of people who are part of our Discord, they use it just as well. Some people have converted from using time-based charts, using tick-based charts. I'm sorry, not tick, but range-based charts. There are tick and volume charts as well. But I've traded since day one range charts because to me, they clear to the eye to me. I like the flow of them. I'm able to see, the volume or the momentum coming into the market. I don't care for time charts, nothing against them. But when it comes to seeing all these small, big wicks and all these big body candles and small candles, that type of thing, I like my charts to look clean and consistent. And I think range charts, for me, help me see the true picture when it comes to the markets moving. All right, I can read it better. All right, I'm not telling anyone out there to shift or a change. But if you're interested in joining our Discord, our great Discord community, you can, scroll down to the description portion of the video below and become a member for free. Okay, join us. All right, but yeah, outside of that, you really needed to kind of focus in on just one solid strategy, no more than maybe 2. Because I know sometimes that, supply and demand may not be hitting all the time to where the market's pulling back the key zone. So you may have to pull out one more thing out of the arsenal. But please do not overdo it by complexity and mixing yourself up with a bunch of strategies. Because so many people, they spend loads of time, hours upon hours, just scouring the internet, watching videos, learning certain strategies. And the thing about it, the longer you take sitting trying to learn multiple strategies, the longer it's going to take for you to really become profitable, because you haven't even mastered one strategy, because there's a process you have to go through: back testing, forward testing, trying to see how long you can be consistent with that actual strategy before you switch over and start trading with live money, right? So please eliminate minimize or eliminate so many strategies that you're actually trying to trade each and every day within the markets. That's going to help you just as well when it comes to resetting again your strategy, and so you can become consistently profitable over time. So again, really eliminate what you have on your charts. Sitting there trying to look at 5 or 6 different things to decide if you should get into a trade or not. By then, you've already missed the action. You've already missed that actual trade to get into. And then you kind of beat yourself up, because then a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll start chasing the market. Please don't do that. Start with a naked chart. Make your charts nice and clean so that you can see with a naked eye what you need to see, so you can make a quick decision, pull that trigger if you should get in that trade or not. Again, all centered around market structure, and price action. That's what I talk about a lot here on this channel, and I will never stop kind of beating that word to death because it is extremely, extremely important. Now, let me ask you out there who are watching this video, how many of you at some point in your trading career were using very simplistic charts? Maybe something from your phone or from a mobile device, because a lot of the mobile applications out there, charting platforms or applications, they don't have all the bells and whistles where you can add all these different indicators. I mean, some of them you can, but just looking at a naked chart, when you were actually viewing and taking trades from a naked chart, you probably found yourself doing better than when you probably started setting up a desktop application, or when you started going into full-on overload or adding too many indicators, right? You probably started seeing your the quality of trades you were taking were started to diminish over time, because then it's like, again, going back to the whole idea of being simplistic, that's where you should be able to realize that, again, like I said, when you start minimizing what you're looking at only, a very select few things, you'll start to see that your trading performance will go up, where you don't have to wait for this to cross over and, just waiting for all of these different signals to get you into a trade. Minimize that, okay? Go back and take a step back to simplicity when you were just looking at basic charts, all right? Show of hands, how many of you trade basic charts? Or started off trading basic charts, and then you were doing well, or you were doing well at that point, and now you find yourself where you're not doing as well. Okay, like to hear from you just as well. Leave a comment down below. I'm telling you right now, simplicity and being able to understand from a simple chart and not overdoing it and not looking at 5 and 6 different charts or 5 and 6 different indicators to give you a signal is definitely going to help you out. Make things as simple as possible for yourself. So just as an example here, I'll show you, like today, I'm looking here at the market. Starting off, we started off bearish to the downside. It's breaking structure. I don't need anything down below to tell me that. I can follow the flow of the market. Bearish breaking structure to the upside. I'm sorry. Bullish breaking structure to the upside. Sorry, forgive me, guys. Bullish breaking structure to the upside, bearish breaking structure down below, right? And then all I'll do is I'll move down personally to my lower time frame chart. When I'm ready to take a trade, I'll start looking at my lower time frame chart and take a trade and be looking at structure of the market. Right here on a lower time frame, I noticed that even though we were bearish on overall on the higher time frame, we started to show some bullish activity moving to the upside. Now, the way I like to trade most times is to mark off a higher time frame zone on my higher time frame chart to start with, and then scale down. I'll move down to my lower time frame chart to find a entry point. So if I mark off a demand zone on my higher time frame chart, I want to mark off a demand zone on my lower time frame and look for an opportunity to go long, and vice versa. If the market is, say for example, bearish to the downside, I'm looking for supply setups, markup on the higher time frame and on a lower time frame. If you want to learn more or understand more about the strategy and how I actually trade, please spend some time watching the video content. Or you may also want to become an elite or an ultra elite member. Very inexpensive. I'll talk more about that right at the end, because that's where I go into really I guess the whole nuts and bolts of the strategy itself. I really break things down, and a lot of people who are part of the community, they found success and watching the video content, and I believe it has helped them along the way, because I believe the best means of educating yourself or becoming educated about something is to spend time watching quality video content that you can put into work for yourself. Because I always tell people, back test and forward test the strategy to see if it's going to work for you. It's very simplistic. It's not hard at all. Trust me when I say that, but I'll talk about that towards the end. Now, when I see, again, the market was bearish to the downside, and then we start making where it's breaking structure above to the upside, there are minor structure points above us to the upside. So when the market was making higher highs and higher lows here to the upside, and we broke above some minor area of structure, moving back to the upside, okay, push up, pull back, breaking structure to the upside, taking out minor areas of structure back above us. This is a nice pullback to a key area of demand right here. So I engaged in, I would engage in looking for an opportunity to go long right here, right? Now I actually took a short opportunity right here today, going short, following the flow as we were making lower lows and lower highs to the downside. Back up in here on this pullback right here, I went short for, I think it was like 15 or 16 points off the NASDAQ. But what I'm simply trying to tell you is that pay attention to structure on your lower base charts just as well, but you want to pay attention to the higher base chart, because that trumps all, and that's what's going to let you know which way you really ultimately need to be trading. Okay, so again, don't overload yourself with a lot of information or a lot of data when it comes to things that you place or put onto your chart. Every indicator under the sun, trying different indicators. The more time you spend trying different indicators, the less time you're going to actually be able to, or I should say, it's going to take you longer to become successful, because people getting to this psychological mode, I'm telling you, because I've been there, and it affected me for years to where I thought that, if I had this indicator, it would work. People always reach out to me asking me about certain indicators, and I tell them, hey, I let them know that the only indicator I primarily use is the volume profile, because volume is important. I mean, I have it on my charts. Do I trade it as a signal to, really get me into a trade? No, I'm trading based on structure of the market and price action. Purely. I'll look at maybe where the volume profile may lie at, or where price may lie at in reference to the volume profile when it goes hits my actual zone. Then that's when I'll decide, okay, this is just another means of confluence. And that's what I use it for. More confluence that will help me better take or execute it or get into a trade, okay? Interested in getting yourself back on track and resetting your trading strategy and, putting yourself back into gear so you can start to become profitable again. Just take a look back to see the things that you were actually doing wrong. Go back, open up your trade data and find out, over a period of time, what were you doing before? If you were profitable and you were in the green, what were you doing before? And switch back to that, okay? Figure out what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, because that's, that data is going to help you out in the end, all right? Again, eliminate all those indicators. You do not need them, I'm telling you right now, but if you choose to, that's up to you. And the last thing I want to say is devise a solid trading plan, something that you're going to stick with each and every day. That's another thing that most people end up, we separate ourselves from that, right? We see what we think are beautiful setups, because I'm telling you this, most people, when they get into their first, second trade, they're profitable. They want to keep pushing the envelope versus stopping, okay? And that's when they go outside their trading plan and start making mistakes. Stick to your trading plan. That's where that's going to help you remain consistently profitable over time. It's not about making tons and loads of money every single day. It's about building your account up so that you can take withdrawals on a monthly basis and live comfortable, okay? But it's up to everybody, and how I can't tell anyone how to live their lives and things like that. But what I can share with you is a strategy that works for me, and that which others trade just as well, that's working for them, so that at some point you could find your way in becoming a profitable trader. But outside of that, I'm only here to share my personal way and how I actually trade. I'm not here to force anyone's hand and let them know that, hey, because I'm gonna say this right now, the way and things that I actually share with people or individuals here on my channel, it may not work for the next person, okay? Because I know this for a fact, because the fact is I can go out here and learn something tomorrow, and it may not be for me. It may not be best suit for my personality and how I actually trade, okay? I'm not a swing trader or position trader, someone that's look to stay in the trades for several hours. So I like to be in and out of my trades, 1-2 max setups a day and be done. There's no need to sit in front of the charts all day long. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the strategy, you can join a private community such as the elite or the ultra elite community. It's only pennies on the dollar a day, and you receive so much valuable information surrounding the actual strategy as a whole. Now, for the elite members, it's only $6.99 a month to join that private community. That's like 25 cents on the day. Excuse me, but what you receive with that are all my trade breakdown videos, and there's tons of videos there to walk you through setup after setup after setup. These are trades that I've taken and I posted over in the Discord community, so you can grasp an understanding in reference to structure, price action, in reference to what am I trying to say? Stop loss placement, profit target areas, understanding why I took that trade, because I'll walk you through it, okay? And that has helped so many people that are part of that community. For one thing, it helps them be able to look at the chart and find setups that are very similar to, or find the same setups themselves. I can't tell you the number of times people have reached out to me and said, I took that same setup, because they're learning, they're understanding, they start to grasp and start to really be able to see structure for what it is. All right. Now you receive the trade breakdowns, the video playlist, which is a series of videos that I put together from the channel that I feel are the most important or pertinent information surrounding the strategy. So there's a list of videos there just as well. And you receive the market structure video, detailed video that I go into detail about breaking down structures so that you can understand structure as well. Now, if you want to take it one step up and become an Ultra Elite member, you receive the live recorded trading sessions. I just did one today to where I go in. I'm actually filming myself as I'm actually trading the New York session and breaking down setups, so you can see the setups that I'm actually taking as I get into them. And and I'm talking to you about the setup, but I'm talking to you really about structure in real time in reference to the session and the strategy surrounding supply and demand. Okay, because that's primarily 99% what I'm trading is supply and demand and looking for great setups. Okay, lots of times right now this summertime we're not finding as many setups surrounding higher time frame where multiple zones are getting touched or tapped back into it on a daily basis. Because again, the style how I trade primarily is I love to see where the market is really tapping into a higher time frame zone and then finding that smaller zone that gives me the confluence to get into a trade. Okay, because of that, right now I'm having to really rely on structure overall in the higher time frame, but taking my trades off of my lower time frame 24 range chart. Okay, so again, with the becoming an Ultra Elite member, that's $14.99 a month. You receive everything you would from the Elite group, okay, for $6.99, but you receive all that plus the live recorded trade sessions and my market recap videos. All right, but outside of that, that's all I have, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video. And if you're not a current subscriber already, please take the time to hit that sub button down below. Make sure to turn your post notifications on, and last but not least, if you found value in today's video, please make sure to drop a like or click on that thumbs up button. But also make sure to comment down below in reference to the questions that I asked within the video. Take care. See everyone in the next one.